Oh, this is gonna be crazy. That was great. Alright, hello everyone and welcome today to another episode of SpraynPray1000's Verdict. I am SpraynPray1000 and I believe this is, episode 29? Oh yeah, I think it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's episode we are going to talk about a game I actually did co-op. And not only co-op, but also basically co-op within the same room as my co-op partner. I played Super Mario 3D World for the Wii U alongside my friend Surgster2. We both played it. It was a really fun experience. And today's verdict is going to focus on that game and what I thought about it. Now, this game has received a lot of hype. This game has received a lot of acclaim, typically as Mario games do. So that's kind of what throws me off a bit in terms of the hype train. This game did receive a lot of it. But what do I actually think about the game? I actually think Super Mario 3D World deserves a lot of the hype it gets. It's really fun, a really good platformer, and not only that, it also pays homage to a lot of other Mario games that have come out either recently or a long time ago, like back in the 1980s and 90s. So, what is Super Mario 3D World? It is a platforming game featuring Mario. Everyone knows who Mario is. He's an iconic video game character. But not only is there Mario, there's also, similar to Super Mario Bros. 2, the option to pick between one of four characters. Mario, his brother Luigi, Princess Peach, and Toad. Each character has different stats. For example, Mario is basically the well-rounded character. Peach can float. Toad is very fast. Luigi is, I believe, a good jumper. So each character has its own different uniqueness and their weaknesses as well. And you and your up to 3 other people can choose who you want to play as, what character you want to be, and you basically go around tackling these worlds. Now, obviously, very differently from a lot of older Mario games, this game is in 3D, which means, it's not like you're moving along left and right along a set area. It's full 3D as you move along a 3-dimensional area. So, it plays similarly to 2011 Super Mario 3D Land. I believe it was 2011. Don't quote me on that. It might be 2012. And the goal of the game is pretty similar to most other Mario games. Especially similar to some of the new Super Mario games. You're supposed to collect these green stars while making your way to the flagpole at the end of every level. Coins, there's coins in there. There's a lot of classic enemies that you're going to have to come into contact with. There's also some new enemies, some new bosses, and pretty much some old and new power-ups, which is pretty interesting, I believe. For example, there's the new cat suit, which is, what they've basically been showing off all over the place. Then there's also returning stuff such as the raccoon suit, the fire flower, standard fare. And each character has a different form depending on what power-up they pick up. Like usual, you stomp on enemies. So pretty much, you've played these kinds of Mario games before, but this one pretty much takes a little bit of everything, and in my opinion, actually attempts to do what a lot of games do when they do that, and go for the best of all. And for the most part, I'll say that Super Mario 3D World is probably one of my favorite Mario games of all time. And it probably only falls third, second to Sunshine, and it loses to Super Mario Bros. 3. So Super Mario 3D World is definitely a fun game to play. It's definitely even better if you have friends with you to play it. And gameplay-wise, they have it completely down-packed. It's nailed. It's good to go. Story-wise, is kind of it's there. The story is not bad. It's just the story is not typically the emphasis in a Mario game in this manner. Like usual, Bowser is up to no good. Although this time he is not kidnapping Princess Peach. He is actually kidnapping these fairy creatures and is basically ruining their world, and it's up to Mario and his friends to save them and restore order. And there's definitely, the typical 8-world setup, and you can run through each level. Each level has a checkpoint. A lot of the stuff it's really more of a modernized version of a lot of the older Mario games, because a lot of the stuff that they recently added in Mario games is in this game as well. So, definitely a lot of good stuff here. I will say, though, the Wii U graphically brings out a lot of good stuff in this game. The Wii U really does a great job of giving the game a nice, good, glossy feel with a pretty good detail and textures. Also, the soundtrack in this game is just astoundingly good. It's really, really well done. I like the soundtrack a lot. A lot of the soundtrack, it's new songs. Also, you have some old returning songs that have been remixed. So, for example, there's music again from Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario World. Not to mention that, there's also a lot of enemies that come from these games and are pretty widespread. So, all in all, there's a lot of also other really cool stuff. For example, there's a single-player gambit of stages where your play is a Toad. And basically you can't jump, and it's more of a puzzle-solving feature as you sort of navigate your way around this cube, avoiding obstacles. There's also I should mention the co-op is also drop in, drop out, which is very nice. I like that. I think that was a good feature of the LEGO games. I'm glad to see other games take use of that. Now, what didn't I really like about this game? Sometimes the camera gets a little bit sticky, especially if your partner decides to go and die off screen. It gets a little sticky, so it might stay in an awkward position while you're trying to figure out what's going on and the camera's away from you. Also, sometimes if you respawn, and obviously I'm talking about if you're playing with more than one person here, if you respawn, you basically respawn similarly to Super Mario, the new Super Mario Bros. But when you respawn, it's kind of difficult to see your location relative to the ground. So if you're in an area that might not be solid ground, it might have a pit or something, you might actually spawn and fall in the pit because you're not aware of where you are because you're floating in a bubble. But for the most part, it's pretty minor stuff. I mean, for what this game attempts to do and go for, I think it pretty much hits the nail right on. And surprisingly, usually I'm not too keen on Mario games. I wasn't too keen on the Galaxy series. I was kind of so-so on the new Super Mario Bros. And a lot of the other games with Mario I just don't like too much. I figure he gets too much screen time, too much attention, and in a lot of cases, too much hype. But I will say that this game, they really did do a great job on it. I like the feel of it. And definitely way better than Galaxy, in my opinion. Although, that being said, you might be in for a treat, players of Galaxy. And I won't say what it is, but it's definitely something to look out for, and it's not too hard to miss, but you gotta stick with it. So, with that vague hint, what would I give this game? This game that I like so much, and I never thought I'd give a Mario game such a high score. I'm gonna give this game a 96 out of 100, because it's just that great, and it's that vital that you should play with friends. The more the merrier, obviously. Up to 4 people can play. And, there was a lot of potential for this game, and I think they really struck it on the head. There was a lot of good stuff that they could have done, and I think a 96 suits it nicely. That is definitely one of the higher scores I've given a game on this verdict list, so don't take that lightly. This game really does deserve it, and they put a lot of effort into it, and I'm glad I can give them what they deserve, because I really feel that this game is definitely, along with Wind Waker HD and a lot of other games, well, not a lot, but a couple other games, definitely one of the standout titles on the Wii U right now. So there's definitely a lot of good stuff coming out. And yeah, I'm glad to see that Nintendo is, taking the time to make sure that what they do put out for the Wii U is high quality, high grade games. So definitely enjoyed it. As I said, I say this a lot on the podcast, I really do enjoy what Nintendo is doing. They're just doing their own thing, and they're pumping out games that I really enjoy, and I really think that are really good. And yeah, hopefully you guys will pick it up. So I'm SpraynPray1000. This is a nice little verdict, nice and short but sweet, and very refreshing. And I'll see you guys for the next one. So, thanks for watching.